Here's what I would do about the economy. Not going to go through each of these. They're in the little booklet. If you didn't get one, make sure you get one of the booklets called Common Sense Solutions. I know common sense left Washington, D.C. a long time ago. But my goal is to take common sense back to Washington, D.C. Here's what I do about the economy, because so goes the economy, so goes everything we've got to deal with. We have got to simultaneously reduce the debt dramatically and stimulate the economy with direct stimulus. Not more spending, not indirectly. Anytime the federal government says that they're going to spend money to stimulate the economy, it's being filtered through the government, and we never get a dollar for dollar return on our money. My proposal is leave it in the people's pocket in the first place. Now, the liberals are going to argue, there you go, how are you going to pay for it? It turns out that tax cuts pay for themselves. Right. When they tell you, and they tell the public, and they tell the clueless 50% that we can't afford a tax cut, they are lying to the American public. We've got to be honest with the American public. And the effect of lies and the deception. Some of y'all may have figured out I don't do political correctness too well. It was a lie, it's a lie. And rules are rules, Phyllis. We've already had that conversation. Because Ken asked me a similar question when I came in. Rules are rules and laws are laws. They're there to be followed and enforced. I have several guiding principles, and that's one of them. 5 things that I'm going to ask the United States Congress to do as my first official request of legislation. Number 1, lower the top corporate tax rate from 35% to 25%, because we're the only nation on the planet that hasn't lowered the top corporate tax rate. Secondly, part of that also lower individual income tax rates. When they extended the tax rates at the end of last year, for 2 years, the rates didn't go down, they stayed the same. Direct stimulus would be to let people keep more of that money, and direct stimulus would be to allow businesses to keep more of the money that they earn. So lower the tax rates, corporately and personally. Secondly, take capital gains to 0. Yeah. Not cut it in half, take it to 0. Why? Big banks are not lending to small businesses. Community banks are the source of cash for small businesses. And what do individual investors do if they make some gain on their capital? They save it. They don't go out and buy more cars and boats. This is how the class warfare warriors try to make people feel, to divide us on that basis. Take it to 0. Number 3, suspend taxes totally on foreign repatriated profits. Many multinational corporations have nearly $1 trillion in foreign countries because they generated over there, they got taxed over there, and if it comes back home, it gets taxed again. Now, the conservative view, or the Cain view, if you leave it over there, we get no benefit. Let the money come home to the businesses that generated it. The liberals, here's what they do. If the liberals won't let it come back home unless they can get a piece of it. And I read one article where somebody was challenging the idea of allowing foreign profits to come home tax-free, saying, well, that's not a good idea. Because how do we know that businesses would use that money to create jobs? Here's my response that I put in one of my commentaries. It's their money. It ain't the government's money. See, we have got to fundamentally change some of the attitudes in Washington, D.C. We have got to change America's attitude and go from an entitlement society to an empowerment society. Empower people, empower businesses, empower the states. We have got to get rid of this class warfare mentality and educate the general public that it is okay to make a profit, and Lord knows it's okay to get rich if you can. That's not a sin. But they've been brainwashed. They have been brainwashed. And we can change that. Then let's give every worker in America a 6.2% raise by providing a real payroll tax holiday for a year for the employee and the employer. Folks, that money would directly stimulate the economy. And then here's number 5. You do those things and you make the tax rates permanent or indefinite rather than extending the uncertainty. Business people don't plan their businesses based upon not knowing what the tax rates are going to be. That would be phase 1 of my economic stimulus plan. Now, one of the questions that I always get asked, especially by skeptics inside of Washington, D.C., well, how are you going to get that passed through the Congress? I'm going to take it to the people. When they feel the heat, they will see the light. You are the heat.